the Masters of the Universe.
King of Castle Grayskull. On his way home from battle, He-Man, the greatest of the Masters of the Universe, halted Battle Cat near the mysterious fortress, Castle Grayskull. The castle was built by unknown hands before the Great Wars, he said to Battle Cat. It is said that whoever controls the castle controls the universe. Riding away from the castle, He-Man was unaware of a skull-faced figure watching from the parapet. Skeletor, Lord of Destruction and the most cunning, fiendish villain on the planet Eternia, wielded his energy blade. Mystical forces created it in another dimension. They shot from the blade to form a magical lens. Now, said Skeletor to himself, let us see what wonders are happening within Castle Grayskull. An image of a beauty slowly appeared in the lens. Ah, it is the warrior goddess, smiled Skeletor. Teela, she listened as the spirit of the castle spoke. Legend tells of a warrior who will find the split halves of the power sword. One half hidden at Eternia's highest point, the other is beneath its hardest rock. With both halves, he can enter the castle and claim the throne and the secrets of the universe. You are to be the guardian here. Thank you, Teela replied. This is an honor. Skeletor would then swear that he would become King of Castle Grayskull by making the legend come true. But first, he needed the halves of the power sword. Eternia's highest point is the mountaintop realm of my winged enemy Stratos, he said. Finding the peak, Skeletor saw the sword, half buried in a rock. Using the hottest blast of his energy blade, he freed the half-weapon from its bed. The second clue can refer only to the hard rock upon which He-Man has built his home, grinned Skeletor. With an obedient Merman to aid him, Skeletor went to He-Man's home. Before He-Man could grab one of his superpowered outfits, Merman attacked. Not even Battle Cat could protect his master. As He-Man fell, Skeletor's energy blade revealed the other half of the coveted power sword. Skeletor left Merman to finish off the fallen foe. Then he set out on foot for Castle Grayskull. He paused only to disguise his scully face with grayish clay. When he reached the castle, he looked up at its gray-skulled facade, and he boldly thrust both halves of the power sword into the stone lock. A grating, creaking sound came from the castle. The drawbridge opened to swallow its new king. Teela trustingly waited, and the disguised Skeletor walked through the castle and rode up to the upper level on the elevator. She saw that his face was much like that of the castle's own facade. You must be the king, exclaimed Teela, but I did not expect you to arrive so soon. Don't waste a king's time with chatter, woman, he bellowed. Just show me my majestic throne. With feelings of triumph and contempt, Skeletor seated himself on the throne. Though it was ancient, the throne moved, and Skeletor recognized its secret devices and controls. What powers he would have. How may I serve you, Majesty? Asked Teela. This way, he laughed, wiping off the disguising clay, and he turned the throne 90 degrees to face a door. A trap door that opened beneath Teela. Alone on the upper level, Skeletor gazed at his new domain, marveling at the wonders of the civilization that had built the castle. He saw computers, monitor screens, weapons, and many wonderful controls. These things are mine, he shouted to the unseen spirit of the castle. The secrets of the universe are now at mine to command. Soon, Eternia and all other worlds will belong to me. I am now king. As Skeletor studied the many marvels of the castle, Merman, he was still engaged in a losing battle. You should have hurried back to your sea when you had a chance, yelled He-Man, because I have had time to get into my force-field garment. As Merman aimed for a closer blast at He-Man, an angry roar filled the air, and Battle Cat made a successful attack, turning the tide of battle. Battered and defeated, Merman limped away to heal his wounds. He-Man put on another outfit that increased his already great strength. Then mounting Battle Cat's saddle, he rode towards the distant castle to find Skeletor and the Power Sword. "You survived that dull-witted merman," said Skeletor, as on a monitor he watched He-Man approach the castle. "But you will not survive, King Skeletor." He-Man dismounted from Battle Cat and cautiously moved towards the castle. He knew that only the complete Power Sword could open the castle's drawbridge. Nevertheless, He-Man tugged at the closed drawbridge with all of his superhuman strength. "It appears He-Man needs my aid," said Skeletor, opening the drawbridge by means of a panel control, and thus flipping the surprised hero into the castle. "Castle Grayskull now has its king," taunted Skeletor, "and you are not going to kneel to the king? You'll not be so glib once I wipe that grin from your skull face, fiend," threatened He-Man. "We shall see, oafish one," laughed Skeletor, his fingers moving to one of the throne's hidden controls to release a barrage of jolting energy. Darkness came swiftly to He-Man. When consciousness returned to He-Man, he was in a dank dungeon with another prisoner. "Teela," he gasped. "Skeletor has gone insane." "We must escape," she exclaimed. "We must stop him before he masters all of the castle's secrets." "Be thankful that the fiend did not strip me of my garment of strength," replied He-Man, as he tore the ancient cell door from its hinges. Having mastered more of the castle's detection devices, Skeletor was aware of his foes' escape. "The fools have evaded one trap only to be prey to other more deadly," he bragged as he activated the control near his throne. In response, empty suits of armor moved to the weapons rack, taking instruments of death from its cache. They then marched toward He-Man and Teela. Wanting to watch his enemy's defeat, Skeletor took the Power Sword and stepped back from the throne. He-Man continued to battle the moving but lifeless army. When one armor fell, another took its place. Enjoying He-Man's almost sure defeat, Skeletor forgot about the warrior goddess. Then suddenly, he felt a hard blow from Teela's spear. Something fell from Skeletor's hand. "My Power Sword!" he screamed. As the Power Sword hit the floor, it split back into halves. Moments later, the remaining suits of armor crashed uselessly to the floor. There was no time for Skeletor to reach the Power Sword. "Now I must escape!" cried the would-be king. Bolting to the upper level of the castle, Skeletor reached the ladder that led to the paparets. His angered enemies were in close pursuit. Reaching the roof, Skeletor saw the castle's laser cannon. Leaping to the weapon, he aimed it at the pursuing warrior and warrior goddess. "Down!" He-Man shouted to Teela as deadly energy bolts blasted at them. He felt the heat of the beam and smelled the burning singeing of his hair. "If that ray hits us, we'll be burned to ashes." Skeletor, he fired again. There was no time for delay. In a blurred moment, He-Man lunged forward with a speed incredible for a man his size. With a powerful shove, he turned the laser cannon's direction of fire. Less than a moment later, He-Man was upon his worst enemy. "The battle ends now," said He-Man, as their struggling brought them even closer to the paparet's edge. Nothing could prevent their fall. He-Man's super strength garment absorbed the impact of the fall, but Skeletor would not accept defeat. He might have destroyed He-Man with the energy blade had he not heard a guttural scream. "He-Man's Battle Cat!" cried Skeletor as the great feline lashed at him with a paw. Battle Cat did not have to make a second swipe, for the once King of Castle Grayskull was fleeing for his life. With Skeletor departed, the spirit of the castle appeared again. "I must make sure the halves of the Power Sword are never again used for evil," said the chilling voice. "I shall send them to another dimension, where even clever Skeletor will have great difficulty finding them." He-Man and Teela watched the divided Power Sword shimmer and with eerie energy, and then fade away. "Centuries may pass before the true king comes to claim his throne and fulfill the prophecy of legend," said the spirit. "Go then, masters of the universe, and fight evil wherever you find it." He-Man and Teela did as ordered. As they departed, the spirit of the castle seemed to smile, knowing that at the proper time, He-Man would prove himself to be the true King of Castle Grayskull. next time on Tales from Masters of the Universe, The Vengeance of Skeletor. And please remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, take care. Keep safe. Thank you.